Amazon is releasing new software to make Alexa, the voice assistant, help consumers transfer sensitive health information. It can now manage tasks like tracking prescription shipments, scheduling doctor's appointments, and even reading blood sugar results. Helpful or horrifying?
Alexa can now transfer, or would be able to transfer, sensitive personal health information. What could go wrong?
Exactly. And they've already had issues with some leaks and different things where people's voices got out. They weren't supposed to be recording.
This makes me uncomfortable, I think, just as a consumer, not knowing a ton about the back end. I want some privacy assurances. I know Apple is very large on privacy and they make that known to us. I would feel more comfortable knowing exactly how this is protected, whether or not this is HIPAA compliant or not. Tell me how. I think we need some technology to help improve our healthcare system, but it's got to be ironclad. And I don't know that that's really possible.
Well, I mean, but banking is safe and secure, and we trust banks to safeguard our information, our financial.
Do we?
So far, my money has stayed in my account, so I'm going forward with that.
Good.
Amazon says this new software is HIPAA compliant, so it meets the federal regulations. And also, listen, for people who are suffering varying degrees of disability, this could be a huge boost, and it is, regardless of our privacy concerns. This is the way of the future. This is what Apple is doing. It is what Google Home assistants are doing. This is going to be where money gets made in the future, so figuring out how it works. Now, my question is, how accessible is this really? How easy is it really? Because if you give me, if shopping is any indication.
Real quick nugget on this, Amazon's smart speaker market share has fallen to 40% from almost 60%. They were first mover in this space. I wonder also if they're just trying to build a moat around it.
You need to add more features, absolutely, to become more competitive. But I just know what's going to happen. Alexa, give me my blood sugar reading, and instead she's going to play Def Leppard's Pour Some Sugar on Me. It's just not going to happen.
I was looking at some Twisted Sister songs over the weekend, just for you, by the way.
Thank you.
Up next, a new survey from Piper Jaffray reports that teens spend an average of $2,600 a year on food and clothing. Now, here's the thing. Every year they do this survey to find out which are the favorite brands. Basically, the #1 place for people to shop now, Cora, correct me if I'm wrong, is, drumroll please,
Amazon is a favorite website by a factor of 10-fold. So when they ask these teens, it's 8,000 teens, and they do this actually twice a year. So they've got a really nice treasure trove of data for 37 some years. Where's your favorite website? It's Amazon. 50% of teens answered Amazon. #2 is Nike, but at 5%.
Wow.
I mean, that's a huge jump. And what's interesting is the Prime adoption, too, has jumped from 70% of households to 76% of households, with the upper income teen families actually having still a big increase, which was surprising because that's the market we would have thought would have been saturated.
I'm just curious if Amazon's the #1 go-to spot, where are the teens hanging out that? We know malls are dying. So what, they're walking into Chipotle and going, smells like Teen Spirit?
So it's funny, that's true. So,
I'm with you. I saw what you did there.
Teens are spending more on food over time. That's a bigger share of their wallet. So Chick-fil-A is #1 still for the last 3 surveys.
For 3 years.
Yeah, for the last 3 surveys at least, because they do this twice a year.
Well, it's every year, it's twice a year.
Exactly.
Right.
And then Starbucks, Chipotle is up there, and so is McDonald's. The one thing that's interesting, though, for beauty, 90% of the teens they want in store. And Ulta actually passed Sephora for the first time in the survey. But those two together still get a 64% market share for beauty. And that's growing, too.
We all believe teen shoppers are so fickle, they'll change the drop of a hat. But I'm very impressed that Chick-fil-A is still #1 after those 3 surveys. And Nike is consistently their favorite apparel shoe manufacturer
apparel
as well.
And footwear. And I actually want to flip to this just because I want to make sure I get this right. Sneakerheads, actually 31% of the males consider themselves sneakerheads. 22% of the females, they say they own 8 pairs of shoes and will buy 8 more this year.
Wow.
That is a ton of shoes.
There you are.
And Nike,
where are they getting all the money?
I know, right?
Well, they're not getting it from saving on gas, because the average price for a gallon of gas has jumped 12 cents just in the past 2 weeks. This is a new Lundberg survey reminding us the national average is now up 5 cents year on year. So for a while, we were still lower, at least than a year ago. Now that we've passed that inflection point.
Prices are going up. Anyway, the summer blend is coming our way right now. OPEC has been, or Saudi Arabia specifically, has been cutting production. And in fact, now they believe that it's at some point now where they don't have to cut much more because prices are going higher. They want $70 Brent crude, and I think it's going to be here before we know it.
Pretty much
Midwest,
got it.
And
the
on all-
Midwest floods are having a
Yes,
factor
that's the
on
other thing, ethanol, right.
as well. And crude is up 50% since Christmas. This is going to put President Trump in a really tough spot because he wants to tighten the ratchet down on Iran with these sanctions. You've got these waivers that are coming due for about 8 countries that were able to continue to buy from Iran. He either gets to put the screws to Iran and see gas prices go up or figure out a way to lessen that. And this is his core voting base, those Midwestern.
Yeah, he's tried to tweet against it. And the ethanol thing to me is so interesting and in a way frustrating, but maybe because I'm still living 20 years ago, which is why is ethanol in there in the first place? And I know, of course, the political answer to that, but you know, when you talk to people who are, you know, before you could drive a newer car that was better formulated for it, ethanol blends are not great. And so, again, it's awful what's been playing out in the Midwest, but one of those reminders that this stuff is now pervasive, and we have to take that into account as much as just crude.
Ethanol is as much an economic issue as it is a political issue, you know, because it does help the farmers in that part of the country. And it's not just about corn. You know, switchgrass is also a huge proponent, especially in Brazil, for making ethanol that they use for fuels.
I didn't know you knew so much about switchgrass.
He knows a lot of things.
Yes, he does.
It all comes out during rapid fire.
He knows a lot about the gas price, too. That much I know. Quickly, Roku shares are sinking today after a new note from Citi, which downgraded the stock from neutral sell. They're talking about competition from Apple and Google as headwinds. The shares have also nearly doubled so far this year.
Content is number one for me. To tell me how I'm going to watch something. I mean, I don't care how I get it, whether it's Roku or Hulu or, you know, smart TVs or whatever it is.
What does the Griffith household generally use to access Netflix? Or
if we're not watching traditional cable television, which, by the way, is not through the cable, we're Netflix and Amazon.
But
you add all these OTT services. It all comes down to what do you want to watch, not. You say, so what do you want to watch? You don't say, so how do you want to watch?
Yeah,
you know, it doesn't work that way.
It's becoming more complicated as we're transitioning.
We have too much
models.
choice.
Yes.
Too much choice.
Yes. And too many platforms.
Yes, that's the point. Yes.
It's amazing to me Roku has done as well as it has, but I can understand.
Roku stock up 110% before this year.
This year, right.
Before this reduction.
Well, this, though, I mean, this is kind of the flip side of things. This is a movie ticket subscription. They're saying for the 1%, but I mean,
for the 0.1%.
Yeah, for the 0.1. A company called Red Carpet Films will allow users to watch new movies as soon as they hit theaters from the comfort of their own homes. It costs $3,000, and you need a minimum credit card limit of $50,000 just to apply for the service. But this is interesting.
Your boys are going to love this.
As a method of going back to your point, do you want to watch the content, and how are you doing that? Even if this is just a very small subset of the population.
I mean, talk about immediate gratification. I don't want to deal with the peons and the serfs who might attend a movie theater. So let me spend
$5,000.
Yeah, come on, $35,000 to set this up, $3,000 to rent the movie.
But people are saying they want to watch at home and not go to the theater. Would you agree or not that that's a conclusion of the last few years?
In between 3 weeks and 3 months, you can watch it at home without going to the movie theater. You just have to have patience, which is where the whole I want it now and I'm willing to pay for it comes in.
Yeah. Aside from a James Bond movie, I cannot think of anything that I would have to absolutely see the weekend it comes out.
By the way, they say they only need 4,000 subscribers.
Well, they're not looking to make a huge profit. You know, when you slice and dice it, you have to have, what is it, net assets of $2 million in order to qualify to get this. Right. And 46,000 people qualify to get this, and they figure they get 10,000 of those and call it a day.
Courtney, this is just, I know we got to go. This is just the extremely fancy version of Netflix. This is, they're showing what everybody else across the country is.
And something like this has been tried before more than once. I think the difference here is the folks that are behind it are pretty ingrained in the Hollywood community, so they think it'll work with the content, which is back to Bill's point.
Exactly.
And that's what we need to
Guys,
get anything off the ground.
Courtney Reagan, Bill Griffith, Contessa Brewer, appreciate it, guys.